What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another video. So today I want to discuss something that's a little bit different. It doesn't really have anything to do with COD Mobile, so if you're here for that, I mean, obviously you could just click off, but then again, why would you tap on the video if you already know what it's going to be about? So today we're going to be discussing the ban situation with Andrew Tate, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering about like what's going on. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know why he got banned. But I have been doing a bit of, I guess, research onto who he is, and as well as Fresh and Fit, because he does appear on the podcast quite often. So Andrew Tate is one of those controversial people. This guy is just extreme. A lot of feminists say he's the king of toxic masculinity. Of course, obviously, I think toxic masculinity is just a bullshit term. But we'll get into that pretty soon. The reason why they're saying that he is, like, ideal person of toxic masculinity is just because of the things that he has said in the past with podcasts, especially a few controversial moments. There were a few accusations that were placed against him, which apparently were proven false, but I'm not really too sure. I don't have enough research to find out what it was, but I do have somewhat of a clue of how those things happened. But it's really the things that he said, and to be honest, most of the clips that were shown on TikTok are usually just taken out of context, and I would see the full clip. I'm sure you guys remember when Brittany Renner was on Fresh and Fit, like looking like she's owning them, but really it was like a huge cut part of it, like after all the stuff that she was saying, where they explained their side, but of course no one really got to see that. He said some pretty outlandish things of like, oh, women are my property, or they should be able to clean up immediately, or whatever the fuck, very misogynistic things that, guys really don't usually say. I think at this point in time, every guy knows not to say that. It's common sense. But the thing is that I have very mixed opinions about his ban and just about him as a person in general, because I have seen podcasts where he's been in it and he's like a completely different person. He doesn't say those outlandish things. I'm very conflicted with this because, there's a lot of things going on, the human trafficking thing, the investigation. I'm not sure if it's still ongoing, but I mean, I'm more of a person that just likes to wait and see what happens. If it actually is true, then, I mean, yeah, he's a fucking monster. But if it's not, then I guess he's fine. There was like this whole picture of like certain highlights of what he said. One of probably the most controversial one that I saw was that he said that female rape victims should bear responsibility. And I think that could be, I mean, there's many ways that it could be translated to, because I didn't see that part where he said that. But I don't know if he's referring to like, they should go straight to the police, or they should, if they went to an area that they know is dangerous or some shit like that, like that thing. I don't know. There could be some context behind that. I'm not really that sure. Unless he said it to be cold-hearted. Okay, yeah, then it's an issue. But basically what happened is that he got banned off of Meta, basically Instagram as well as Facebook. He's no longer able to make a new profile or post or anything like that. And as weird as it sounds, it's kind of like mixed, almost 50-50, because a lot of people are pissed off as to like why, like they don't really know why he did. But basically, I think the main reason was that he's a danger to the younger audience, because he might indoctrinate them in a certain way so that, those kids might act out like him in real life. But I'm not really sure if that's completely true. I mean, I've seen some TikToks about teachers talking about how kids are starting to become more like Andrew Tate, and, they're treating women like I guess the girls like subhuman. But I don't know. I mean, the thing is that there's no proof of it. It's just their word. I don't see kids doing that. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just, I like to see the bright side in people. But the thing is that I just don't see that happening. It just sounds very unrealistic. Like, I would have to hear a voice recording or see a video to see if that's actually true. Because who knows? For all these teachers can be just some weird feminists making shit up just to, progress their own agenda or whatever the fuck it may be. I could be wrong. I would definitely apologize if I am wrong. But again, I have to be convinced about this one. But yeah, they basically banned him because they see him as a danger. They see him as basically corrupting the youth, even though feminism and I guess the LGBTQ have been doing that for so long at this point. And I think that's where the issue truly lies. It's the double standard between men and women, and maybe even LGBTQ, but mainly men and women. And that's because feminism has just painted men as just universal, as universal villains, basically. We're all bad, we're all rapists, we're all cheaters, we're just every bad thing that you can name of. Any feminist that rebuttals with, oh, that's not what feminism is about, you haven't given us a reason to think otherwise. That's the problem here. But the thing is that feminism has such a chokehold on the US, Australia, the UK, to the point where anything that you say against their ideas are just gonna basically, your life is over. And it could be the most gentle argument. You could be like, well, I disagree with you, man, because I think men deal with this more. But dude, they will fucking attack your character. Trust me. They'll call you like every insult in the book, like incel, fucking misogynist, toxic masculinity, all that crap. Like, even if you have the nicest argument and you don't seem hostile at all. But unfortunately, women have said some pretty gruesome shit on Twitter. I mean, really, like stuff that you would think like no guy would ever say towards a woman. There was this one girl, bleached hair. Fuck, what was her name? I forgot her fucking name, but she made a whole video saying that, we need to kill all men. So every man that you see in the street, make sure to kill him. And we also need to kill male babies, shit like that. And nothing happened to her. No arrests, nothing. I don't even think she was deplatformed from Twitter.
We need to kill all men. I am sick of being a baby factory that produces more men that will just, in the future, subjugate me. So the only answer to that is to kill male babies and just kill any man that you see, like in the streets, like any swing chick, just kill him.
So credits go to Poor Man's Podcast for re-recording this, because it just shows you what a feminist truly is. And like I said, keep in mind, imagine a guy fucking said that about women. Imagine a guy just, using his fucking webcam and recording himself saying, oh, we need to kill all women and we need to exterminate all female babies. Can you imagine the amount of backlash that guy would receive? He wouldn't even be a free man anymore. He would be in prison for saying shit like that. That's shit like Andrew Tate wouldn't say. And I know because I've seen him on not on Poor Man's Podcast, but on Fresh and Fit, and even on his own channel a few times. But it's still, that's why I'm so conflicted, because I don't know too much of his backstory. All I know is that he was a 4-time kickboxing champion or something, and now he just says some weird shit on the internet to get a rise out of everyone. The whole reason why he does what he does is just to build confidence in men. Yes, it sounds outlandish. I know some of the things that he says is not rational, but in some cases he's right. Like women and men being different, emotionally or even just physically. He's had arguments with women in the podcast where, he would make this scenario up of like, if your plane's about to crash, would you rely on a male or a female pilot? He's basically talking about like who is better in, responding to serious situations. A lot of people agree that men are, very capable of that. Of course, women, if they're trained, they will respond to situations normally and not lose their shit. That's what he was arguing. He was like, he has a lot of rational points. It's not just pure controversy. If anything, he was also falsely accused. The girl that apparently was held against her will only said that because she went there to cheat on her boyfriend. That was a story. I don't fucking know if that's 100% true. But even then, I mean, he was never arrested for it. The same thing happened in the Fresh and Fit podcast. Well, it was a false sexual allegation where apparently Myron was assaulting this girl when it never really happened. They had a 4-hour fucking stream basically debunking the whole entire thing. They had messages, they had everything. For me, it's hard to argue with credibility. The main argument is just the fact that he got shut down because it just didn't go with the beliefs of, the left side, the Democratic and the feminism side. And yeah, it's annoying, honestly, like just to like, you're making money off your platform. Honestly, I think Fresh and Fit's probably going to be next after this, because that's another huge platform that talks about men's issues. And they also teach men about like how, just women work, or, how they, I guess, trick people. I don't know. And most of the stuff actually makes sense. I even watched Just Pearly Things, which is run by a female lead, a female that's talking about men's issues. How often do you see shit like that? I mainly watch Just Pearly Things a little bit more because, it's more organized. No one's really rude to each other, with the exception of one, which I'll get into right now. But yeah, I mean, I learned a lot of things. I mean, for instance, divorces, I thought it was a 50-50 thing. I thought men and women file divorces about the same rate. But it turns out that 80% of divorces are filed by women. And that's mainly because that, there's more of an incentive to divorce men, because you get half their shit. So yeah, and sometimes prenups are not really sufficient to keep you from losing your things. So that's why marriage rates have, just went down. Divorce rates are much higher because women are incentivized to break the marriage because they're getting paid for it. Also, men's suicides is 4 times higher than women's. And, it's one thing I do hate when feminists respond to that is that, oh, the patriarchy is the reason why they're killing themselves or whatever the case may be. But it's like you're basically just saying, oh, it's their fault that they're committing suicide, right? It's like complete victim blaming, which is a complete contradiction of what they say. Because, if you ever victim blame them, it's like you're the worst person in the world, but they do it all the fucking time. I mean, they were even shaming us when the whole Amber Heard Johnny Depp case was going on, right? They were saying that, oh, we don't care about male victims of domestic assault. You just care about the memes. And it's just like, okay, when the fuck was the first time you've ever talked about a male victim of anything? It was like you could just feel the butt hurt knowing that a female is actually capable of domestic assault. It like I said, it paints them in a very bad light, and that's what they don't want to hear. And yeah, you could say that, oh yeah, they now support Johnny Depp and all victims of domestic abuse, but it's like why now? It's already too late. The damage is done. You should have just waited to see what happens until the end. That's what I do with every case. Even I think right now, something's going on with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, some abuse allegations that she made towards him. And even me right now, I'm just like, you know what? Let's wait and see what happens. But in the comment section, I do see a lot of things, a lot of people saying that, oh, this is just another Amber Heard, which I kind of disagree with. I didn't want, for me personally, one case doesn't define all of them because, every person's different. I don't want to believe that she's just going to be another liar. So that's why I'm saying I should just wait until everything comes out. And now that we're on the topic of domestic abuse, I mean, another thing that I did learn from Just Pearly Things is that 70% of domestic abuse cases are actually initiated by women. But the thing is that, guys don't really talk about it because if they even call the police, they're the ones that are going to be arrested. So, yeah, and that does happen all the time, it's never really talked about. They also discussed about this lady, I guess she was an ex-feminist, or I guess she's now a men's rights activist or something. She actually wanted to see who was which gender was most likely to cause domestic abuse. I think this took place in the UK. And her studies, it was non-biased. It turns out that women were the ones that initiated the domestic abuse more. And the feminists were just literally just giving her death threats. One time, she had to call the police because apparently there was this potential bombing that was going to happen. It was a whole thing. And I mean, I saw the live stream of Andrew Tate and Aiden Ross, after he got banned. He mentioned that he gets tens of thousands of death threats from feminists or just, male feminists or just a lot of people in general. But really, I think that's the price you pay for, and I think that's a price any influencer pays. I mean, there's always going to be some talking points that people disagree with, and they're just going to hit you with those death threats. It happens to both men and women. And at some point, if my channel ever grows and I have some sort of controversial opinion at some point, I'm sure there's going to be people sending me death threats. But the point of this whole video is that, I mean, he shouldn't have been taken out of the platform immediately. I mean, if it came out that it was true that he was a human trafficker and all that stuff, I think they already debunked that a long time ago. I mean, yeah, it would have been okay to deplatform him because he actually is dangerous. But that just wasn't the case. They only deplatformed him because feminists weren't happy about it. I know it's a whole messed up situation, but to be honest, when it comes to like the younger people that watch them and even people my age or above, I don't fucking blame them for listening to them. I don't. Because there's not a lot of male platforms out there that really expose the truth of like how women act today. I know not every woman's like that, but still, like there's a lot that just guys never discuss. And that's what these channels aim to do. Men out there in the world are not listening to their podcasts for any malicious reason. They just listen to them because they can resonate with them. Many of the people that listen have been victims of domestic abuse, victims of fucking false accusations, victims of a terrible fucking divorce where they lost like a lot of their assets. Not to mention paternity fraud. It's more common than you actually think. And there are women out there that actually would fight against, mandatory paternity tests upon birth. Shit because they just don't want to be exposed. There's like shit like this is stuff that men do need to talk about or even discuss on like a podcast or something, because there's no other place anywhere to actually discuss it without being called misogynistic. If they try to do that on TikTok, dude, I mean, can you imagine the backlash? So yeah, honestly, guys need an outlet too. I mean, women have all of social media to like listen to other problems or to have discussions about this. But guys don't. That's the thing. And Andrew Tate, unfortunately, is what we have. I know he's not the ideal choice, but still, I mean, a lot of people look to him because they see him as a true masculine guy. Even though you guys might deem it as toxic, but still, like that's the closest thing that we have. And the only reason why they're looking up to him is like, dude, they're not going to look up to a feminist of how to be a man because obviously they're just going to feminize them. And let's be honest, the feminization of men thing is bullshit. We all know why you want to feminize men. You just want better control over them since they'll be weaker. Come on, let's not beat around the bush here. But really, like taking out the masculinity in a guy, it's like you're taking out one of the core fundamental features of a male. I mean, you can't take that off. Like we can't just change who we are biologically just because you don't like it. It's like if I had a dog and I told him, I want you to act more like a fucking cat. Like, it's retarded. I think now at this point in time, I think guys are starting to realize the bullshit that, feminism has just thrown at the entire world, really. Because people are starting to see like that, they're not so perfect after all. There are evil ones out there. I mean, old version of feminism, like, the right to vote, like back during the 1920s was cool. Because they actually fought for rights that they needed. But now they're just complaining about men fucking spreading their legs in the subway. And really, I don't even know why they're even complaining, dude. They have so much more of an advantage that we do. I mean, we can't even lay a finger. We can't even look at you without it being fucking harassment. And even then, like in courts, like, dude, you guys have a much better edge, especially when it comes to divorce and child custody. You usually get it all the fucking time. And also with like, prison sentences, you get much lighter sentences. I think it was like, I think you get like 3 times lighter sentences than guys for the same crime. I think it was that. So like, let's say like you kill a person with malice and everything. Like that's life in prison usually for a guy, but I guess it would be like 20 or like 15 years for like a woman. It's stupid. You guys have so much more fucking privileges than us. Just enjoy it, man. Stop fucking being ungrateful. Believe it or not, Andrew Tate did talk about this at one point in one of the podcasts. He mentioned that, men do all these dangerous jobs not to oppress women, but to just provide for their families. They're just living their own lives. That was probably a clip from like one of his more rational points of conversation. But it's true. I mean, women today are so oppressed that they could falsely accuse you of any type of assault without fucking evidence and they just get away with it. I mean, fuck the whole humanity. I mean, the power to falsely accuse and just ruin a guy's life instantly, dude, that's a fucking superpower. That's like fierce deity levels of fucking powerful. Exodia from fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Cannot compete against that type of power. The Amber Heard case and the Johnny Depp case did change things a little bit. They have people questioning now whether or not a person that makes an accusation is even telling the truth, which should have been like the way to go before. I mean, she had a voice for like 5 years, and Johnny Depp just like recently had to do all this stuff to prove that he was innocent. Like that shouldn't be happening. I mean, honestly, like every every accusation should be taken with like skepticism, because like it's not fair to have a guy's life ruined without any sort of evidence. Well, that's my entire stance on the Andrew Tate ban situation. Honestly, like I think it was kind of stupid to deplatform him right now because, like I said, I don't know whether or not that guy's guilty of being a trafficker or anything like that because I haven't read up on that yet, well, at least fully. But still, I mean, guys don't really have a lot of places to talk about their issues. And whatever places that we do have usually get taken down or get labeled as bad because it doesn't fit the feminist agenda. It's fucking retarded. But yeah, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more content like this, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.